in southern New Hampshire. We're out here. I'm going to be doing a long-term review of the 2020 Stumpjumper, Specialized Stumpjumper ST, which is a shorter travel trail bike. I know the new one just came out, the 2021, but this is more a long-term review. You know, if somebody's out there looking for a used bike, or there's some at the bike shops or something like that that are still leftovers or something like that. But this will give you an idea of a long-term test, and I'll compare it to other bikes I've had, the SB100 by Yeti, Pivot 429 SL, and Pivot 429 Trail, and a bunch of others. And we'll see you out there, give you my thoughts for a long-term review. And you know, when you think quintessential New England trail bike, I don't know what comes to your mind, but Stumpjumper is pretty much what comes to my mind. And it's probably one of the most popular bikes in this area, if not the whole country. So we'll just take a look at it, I'll give you my thoughts, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm out here on my 2020 Stumpjumper ST, and you may have seen my other video on dream build for this bike. I'll leave a flag up at the top so that you can check that out. I'll leave a link in the description as well. And basically, I've been riding this bike, you know, quite a bit. Been talking to a few of the guys on the team, and a lot of the guys have really missed trail riding. And having a bike that makes it fun to trail ride locally is pretty important, and a lot of people have done that lately. We've all got enduro bikes. We race enduro, ride a Highland every week. There's been talk about just people missing about coming out and ripping up the trails, and having a small bike just makes it fun. You can rail, you can rip, you get a pedal efficient bike that you don't feel like a old fat man on a big enduro bike on these cross-country trails, which they are. All of them are cross-country down in southern New Hampshire. And I can't think of a more quintessential trail bike than a Stumpjumper, so that's what I went with this year. And I ended up taking a S-Works frame, and I shortened the travel on it. So they come from the factory as a 140 with a piggyback shock, but all you gotta do is buy the yoke and the correct travel, you know, shorter eye to eye and shorter stroke shock, and you can make it into a short travel. And that's what I did. And I slapped a 140 fork on the front, even though the stock ST comes with a 130. I wanted to slacken it out a little bit, you know. So according to my math, if you go by the geo chart, the Stumpy ST comes in at 67.5, but I'm pretty sure through the research that we did that was in the high position. So if you slap it to low with the flip chip that's in the shock mounts, you can get it half a degree slacker. And then by adding 10 millimeters to the front suspension, running 120 rear, 140 front, I got about 66.5 degree head angle, which for me, for an all-around trail bike, it's a lot of fun. Because I rode this bike in, you know, during the early stages of quarantine or whatever, we did some virtual Strava races and stuff like that. And honestly, this was my go-to bike because, you know, everything around here there's nothing really gnarly around here. And we did it locally as to stay close to home. And, you know, this bike did really well. Really, really well. Because it just pedals good, descends good, you know, up until a few years ago. You know, 66.5, that was really slack. Now it's like, oh, 66.5? Oh, what are you doing, racing cross country? Well, no. It's kind of crazy to think about that, but that was only just 2 or 3 years ago. This bike overall for me has been fantastic trail bike. Like I said, it's, you know, if I want to compare it to like an SB100 or, you know, something similar to that, it's like, okay, no, it doesn't pedal as well. It's more of an active suspension, so most of the time I'll run it in the middle position, and then I'll give it some pedaling platform, except for when I do drops, maybe like this, and send it down. You know, that's like a 4-footer, but I did put a volume spacer in the rear suspension, but it just takes it, you know, eats it up. You're not gonna do a 6-7 foot hucks with this thing, but you know, it takes everything in stride, and it's fast too. But I do like it because, you know, it's easier to manual. Even though I really stink at manuals, the active suspension makes it really easy to get up on features. You can just manual the front tire up on anything, especially in the open mode. You know, overall, this isn't a bike for me that I would go out and try and race cross country with or whatever, but it's just a fun trail bike, really active. So I think if your aim is, you know, to have a peppy trail bike that's active, playful, you know, you can get a little rowdy with it, and you can jump it, drop it, manual it, have fun with your buddies. This is a great little fast little trail ripper. The SB100 is definitely like a lot more pedal efficient, obviously, because it's got that switch infinity. But I also, you know, would be leery of doing stuff like this with it. Phew. Hitting these drops and then not thinking about it. Yeti does a very good job on their pedaling platform, and it is pretty bottomless, but I like the geometry on this better with the 140 fork. The 100's a lot steeper, and but I don't think it's as fun. Same thing with the older 429 SL, which I had the 2016 version, so that was, you know, a few iterations ago, so it's not really a fair comparison. But I've demoed a lot of bikes. Ripley is going to have a lot better paddling platform than this, but again, I think you can definitely get more rowdy with this. And it's a very versatile frame, as I've mentioned in the bike build video, or how to change the travel on your Stumpjumper video. I'll leave a link in the description for that, and a card up at the top. You can check that out, and you can, you know, if you want to be that one bike guy that puts on a piggyback shock and a Fox 36, and you want to run this in trail mode most of the time, then you want to go do an enduro race, you know, you can. Yeah, it's not practical to change forks and shocks all the time, but you know, it's an option. At least it's a more versatile tool, I think, than something that's travel in the rear is fixed totally like other brands. So it's just the yoke and the shock, and boom, you get a 140 bike. I'm not gonna complain about that at all. Versatility is good. I'm not a big fan of, you know, super adjustable everything, because I want a bike to basically just set it and forget it. But there is something to be said for if you are on a budget. I always run two bikes. I have an enduro race bike, then I have like my fun trail bike. But if you don't have that luxury, which a lot of people don't, you can always change out the fork to a bigger, beefier fork, change out the rear shock, you know, in the matter of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you can go ride the bike park. You know, that's the kind of the cool thing that I like about it. I don't know how it is with the 2021s, but that's how it is on the 2018 to 2020 Stumpjumpers. You know, the nice thing about having a rowdy bike for trails is you can get a little rowdy with it, you know. Ooh, got it. Ooh. And you know, you come up in the woods and you see a couple drops, and you're gonna want to hit them. So you just get a, you know, regular dedicated cross-country bike, you might not want to hit them. Ooh! Yeah! Woohoo! Haha! So, you may have seen my most recent review video. I just rode the Top Fuel by Trek, and you know, truth be told, I probably will be buying that next year. But the reasoning is it's about the same as what I'm running now. I'll be honest, I didn't really, you know, the stock setup from the factory on the Top Fuel wasn't exactly what I was looking for. It was set up kind of cross country out of the box, but I know by the numbers it's gonna be what I'm looking for, you know. Just because it came with a pretty you know, small fork, 120. It says on the website it's good for 130, so it will be a pretty good ripper for me, kind of with similar angles as this thing does. But the Top Fuel is just lighter, faster, better climber. It's going to be similar geo by the time I'm done with it. It'll just be 115 rear, 130 front, and you know, it'll just be a rowdy, ripping cross-country bike. Hope you enjoyed the review, and like I said, I'll give you a rundown in the parking lot, and let me know if you get any questions. Try to answer them. I know it's not the latest and greatest bike, but you know, maybe there's a leftover at your shop that you're looking at and you're wondering about performance, versatility, how to change travel, maybe how to have 2 or 3 bikes in one, because you can make this bike 120, 130, 140 rear. It'll run both. It just depends on your shock size. You can run a coil, you can run air, you can run a piggyback shock, you know. So for somebody on a budget, you get a leftover, don't be afraid to snag it up. I mean, it's not the latest and greatest, but it'll do it. It'll do everything pretty well. All right, see you out there. Well, there she is, 2020 Stumpjumper, S-Works frame. So like I said, I took it and I shortened the travel with a 190 by 45, which gave it a 120 rear travel. I've got race face next to our cranks, next to our handlebars. I'm running a size large. I'm 5'10", with a 33 mil stem, real short. Fits me just right. I'm running 800 millimeter bars. Got a Fox 34 at 140, which gives me about 66.5 degree head angle. It's a traditional offset, 51 millimeter. Running 170 mil cranks, XL1 drivetrain with XX1 cassette, SRAM G2 RSC brakes, Knox carbon rims with traditional i9 torch hubs. Run the Vittoria Agaros, which are probably my favorite trail tire I've ever had. They just hook up on everything and super fast rolling. So there she is. If you guys got any questions, leave them down in the comments. Like I said, I'll leave the flags up in the description, or up in the top, and I'll also leave some links in the description to my other videos. On one was the dream build, which goes through everything, and then the other video was how to actually change the travel in the rear to achieve different travels with this frame. So yeah, don't be hesitant if you find one of these.